It's the Fellowship of the Geeks Show, brought to you through the support of the following: Awesome Comics at GalaxyCollegeDallas.com, SciFiFX.com, and Voodoo Gingerbread Graphics. Music courtesy of FreePlayMusic.com. You can contact the Fellowship at email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. And now, on with the show! Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Fellowship of the Geeks broadcast for May 28th, 2013. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining us via Google Hangout is Les Webster.
Hi there.
Mike Marlowe.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
And from the website at Galaxy College Dallas, James Pickering.
Les, are you sharing your beer with Mike there?
I don't drink
Plenty to go around.
Woohoo!
I never drink beer.
He's high on life.
Okay, George.
It's water, I promise.
So I was going to ask how everybody's doing, but I think I already know that.
We're here.
Are we?
Some more than others, I can tell.
Now, I got a quick question. When I highlight my own screen over here, does it put my picture up on your screens too? Am I up right now?
No.
Well, you're up because you're talking.
No.
Okay, good.
What I have learned from experience is since I'm the one that did the invite, I'm kind of controlling what's on the screen.
Okay.
So as long as I don't mess it up, it notices who's talking, so it'll pop them up on the main screen.
Okay.
For our listeners, this is an overflow from our pre-show.
Conversation.
What pre-show? We didn't have a pre-show. We're playing catch up.
We're trying to figure out how this works still, especially after they changed it. Huh?
We've only been using it for a year now.
Yeah, but like I said, they've changed things, so.
Pedal faster, Daddy.
There you go.
Where's the gerbil? Where's the gerbil?
This Go Ogle throws me.
What'd you say there, Les?
The Go Ogle throws me.
The Go
Go Ogle. And the 99? No comment.
99. No, he's looking for it. You can tell.
I have no idea.
Ah!
You kids.
Yeah, kids these days.
Just smile, nod, and back away as slowly as you can.
Smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave.
Right out that window, right?
I have mastered the mute, though. That's good.
What? I didn't hear you there.
Huh? What? Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get into tonight's show.
Oh, yes, a plan. That's right.
Well, I don't know how much of a plan there is, but the first thing I kind of want to talk about, we were going to discuss 2 weeks ago when we had issues with Google not letting us have a Hangout, and it's regarding the. This has been kind of going on for a while, but it's kind of building up again. The controversy regarding Kickstarter, and excuse me. And the reason why I was brought up recently is again was talking about how is it Zach
Zach Braff.
Zach Braff was using it to raise money to do a movie, and of course Zach Braff is he was a lead actor in Scrubs, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But he wanted to use Kickstarter to raise funds to do a sequel to a movie he had done previous, a sequel to a movie that he did, and I've forgotten what the name of it is.
Wish I Was Here, the sequel to his Garden State.
Yeah, that's it. Garden State is the sequel. Yeah, and a lot of people were complaining that, hey, he's a Hollywood guy, he's an actor, he's got connections, he could get funding through more traditional routes. And from what I saw of the article that I forwarded to you guys, is he is using some of his money, and he is using some traditional financing sources too, but he's still wanting to use Kickstarter, which has some people upset. And of course that follows up the whole Veronica Mars campaign, where they were trying to raise funds to do a movie, and they essentially, not only did they meet their goal the first day that it started up, they obviously exceeded it. But there's people out there that are kind of complaining about, hey, these are big names. They have other access to financing, where Kickstarter wasn't really meant for that. It was meant for other people who don't have such connections or resources to do whatever they want to, whether it's movies, games, comics, and whatever. And bring it bring it towards comics. I know Jimmy Palmiotti, who was here a couple weeks ago at the convention here, local convention. He's used it 4 or 5 times. His latest one, he's doing something different, where the other ones have been picked up by Image, and they were released by Image, where this one, it's not going to be. It's whoever helps finance the book, they will get a copy of the book. Mm-hmm. There's also been others, as Mark Silvestri brought back Cyberforce, and what he did was he did a Kickstarter project to have the books available for free. Rob Liefeld, within the last week or so, is started something similar to bring back Brigade, one of his books back from the 90s. Several other comic creators, some bigger names than others, have gone to that source as well.
And some games too.
Huh?
And some games as well.
Well, yeah, there's games too. Yeah, I mentioned games too, but and movies and CDs, that kind of stuff. But I just kind of wanted to bring it up to kind of discuss it a little bit. Let me go ahead and get my thoughts out there real quick.
Why?
He's going first. Don't bash him. He's going first. Let him go first. Go ahead, Tom.
Sorry, I was being sorry.
Anyway, it kind of upset me to hear that this was happening, but it's also, it's meant for everybody, so it's kind of, they're not really it's kind of an abuse of the system, but it's not like they're not doing anything. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't like it, but that's what it was set up for. Is for anybody to use that as a means to raise money. So I mean, it's something that the people who created Kickstarter would have to deal with, and they've already come out and it kind of supported the whole thing, saying so it's not going to change. I know Kevin Smith looked at doing, I think, Kirk's 3 through Kickstarter, and changed his mind because for that reason he felt that, hey, I've got other resources, or I can use my own money to finance the movie. This needs to be for people like me when I was trying to do my first film. So, I applaud him for that. So, it upsets me, but it's kind of what can you do? It's So who has some thoughts on this? Mike?
I think we all do. So
Okay, go ahead.
Pick one of us. All right.
Mike.
This is probably a first for the show, but I actually disagree.
Okay.
I find, and I'm not attributing it to you, but the comment about that this not being what Kickstarter was designed for, I completely and wholeheartedly disagree with that comment. I mean, if you want to get technical with it, hell, the internet is not being used what it was designed for anymore either. But guess what? It works great. Everybody gets their porn, and everybody's happy.
Internet is for porn. That's right.
Well, let me jump back in there real quick, because I'm not trying to defend myself. I'm saying that's what other people said. I'm saying, and
I'm not attributing that comment to you. You're
Right.
just relaying it.
Yeah.
But I disagree with the comment, not necessarily with you.
I mean, I don't like it, but it's like it's it's what it's for. So I mean, it's not like it's not like they're doing anything wrong. It's just
Well, I mean, what's it for then? I mean, I'm not sure I understand this
Just a minute, okay?
But my deal is, sure, Zach Braff is a big movie star and he has boatloads of money just sitting around in his living room. Sure, if he's like that, then great. He can finance the movie himself if he wants to. Or he can do what a lot of other people are doing, which is giving the fans a chance to have a voice. Letting people vote with their dollars, as it were, and let people do things that they wouldn't otherwise necessarily do, or they would take huge risks of their own to do. It's a cushion. It's a fallback, and it's not. I mean, as far as Zach Braff doing it, so what? I mean, I don't see that as being any different than the Veronica Mars thing. I don't see why there's a big deal about the Zach Braff one, but not about the Kristen Bell. I mean, that doesn't necessarily make sense to me. But I mean, I agree that it is really great for small guys to get out there and get the cash flow that they need to make the art that they want to make, or do whatever it is that they think is important enough to attempt to do. But I don't necessarily think that scale should be the issue here. I mean, okay, so it's like, I don't know how big, was it 5 million or something? I don't remember what he put up there. But, if people don't want to do it, then they won't give him his money. Give him their money. And if they do, then they will. And my guess is he'll get the money, despite the fact that a lot of people don't want to see it done. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Well, let me jump in real quick, and then we'll move on to Les. With that, then do you have a problem with, say, a owner of a sports team wanting the taxpayers to foot a majority of the bill for a new stadium, that they'll pocket the money? But not that I'm saying it's not the same comparison, but it's kind of it's.
I honestly think it would be interesting to try doing something like that on Kickstarter, because I think that way you'll get a more honest representation of who really wants to help, who really wants to invest, as it were. I mean, it's technically not an investment, because you get whatever little thing they offer you out of it.
Yeah.
But I
And
think
it's not.
that's way better than having the government come in and force everybody. See, there's no way. I would if I swear to whatever anybody wants me to hold holy, that if I had lived in Arlington when the Death Star thing started happening, I'd have moved, because there was no way in the world I wanted to have anything to do with that project. I would
And
have
that's
moved out of the city of Arlington.
and that's not really a fair comparison, but it's kind of close.
It's right. It's not that far off. I honestly think the Kickstarter concept makes more sense in that
Yeah,
instance than sales tax hikes
right.
across the board. For
May want to let everybody know
dozens
what
of years.
the Arlington Death Star is. in
Cowboy
case-
Stadium.
It's
Sorry.
Dallas Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, Cowboy
For those who don't know.
Jerry World.
Yeah. Okay, Les.
Come on, Darth Webster, let us have it.
I'm going to say that I don't have a problem with it in the regard that, to me, Zach Braff is not an A-tier star. If this was Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise saying, I need to make this movie, but I want to do it with Kickstarter funds, I would really have a problem. This, to me, is going to be more of an independent movie. I like Zach Braff. I think he is quite funny. All those years on Scrubs plus Garden State was very good. I don't have a problem with that. And if you look in the pointing toward comic books, wasn't there an artist several years ago that put an ad out saying that he would draw your comic book for a certain amount of money, and it ended up that instead of a single issue, he was so taken by the guy's writing style, they ended up doing maybe 3 issues to tell a story.
I'm not aware of that story. I'll have to look it up.
But to me, I don't have a problem with them getting their money this way.
Okay.
I know of another Kickstarter project, and I've talked about it before, Jet Girl, that somebody's trying to get funded. And if you are one of the high-tier donors, then you get the comic book, you get to appear in the comic book. They send you a guitar with the painting of Jet Girl on it, signed by the artist and writer and things like that. And I don't have a problem with that. If it's something that I know in the comic world, the big 3 or 4 doesn't just grab and say, we want this, that's fine with me. Because if you remember, Men in Black was an independent publisher. It was by an independent publisher, and then it was grabbed by Marvel so they could put their name on the movie. So I don't have a problem with them starting out as a Kickstarter. I'm for it.
Okay, so you didn't have a problem with Zach, but what about the Veronica Mars, which was a successful TV show? How many years was it on?
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
3 or 4?
Years.
I don't have a problem with that. I would like to see him bring back Crime Story. I'd like to know the ending of that. I'd like to see a second movie of Doc Savage that they promised me. The second movie of Buckaroo Banzai that they promised me. Things that never happened.
Well, and granted, we're talking about... Go ahead.
History
Go ahead,
of the
Mike.
World Part 2.
Yeah, there you go. We're talking about two different studios here, and so I understand this, but I just kind of find it funny that Fox would pony up the money to do a movie off of Firefly, yet WB or CW or whoever it was won't do a movie off of Veronica Mars, which lasted longer. It may have I would think it would probably be
If not a comparable fan base, then at least a sizable one.
yes, thank you. So, I don't know.
What did you say?
Yeah, James.
I don't have a problem with anybody on it. My question is, where was everybody when the Veronica Mars thing came out? Why wait until Zach Braff? And then on top of that, the internet's a huge place. And I know that there was concern, somebody was stating concern that big name people coming out and taking all this money is going to take away from the kitty and everything. That's not the case. The person who is interested in saving an independent is not going to be the same person that wants the Veronica Mars movie. To me, it's a huge internet. It's a huge Kickstarter. There's money to go around all over the place. And this is the other thing you got to keep in mind. It's just like economics. The market is going to bear what it can bear. If there are people out there that want to, that really want to see this happen, they'll make it happen. If a big movie company that comes in and says, "Hey, we want y'all to fund it," there's going to be enough people out there that look at them and go, "You're freaking crazy. Get your own pockets out." That's the way I look at it. I'm happy for him. Hey, make your movie. But I think we're all the internet is just kind of barking up the tree for just to hear themselves bark. It's Kickstarter. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily meant for what its intentions probably when it got started wasn't for the big guys. But you know what? It can if it can bear that load, then it can bear that load. Like I said, the people if there's a demand for it out there, they're gonna find the money for it, and I don't see it taken away from any of the smaller projects. I think it's it's a big playground. That's all I got.
Well, looking back, as far as backing from a company, from a big film company, I think we saw the problem that was done with John Carter a couple of years ago when Disney just kind of said, "Yeah, we made this movie, we'll just toss it out there. And in the meantime, we're going to hype the hell out of the Avengers." I know the Avengers was a bigger moneymaker, but I think they dropped the ball, as we've discussed before. They dropped the ball on John Carter.
Well, the reason why they dropped the ball was there was a change in regime.
Yes.
The men and women who greenlit the project were not the ones who were in charge when it was time to market and promote the film and all that kind of stuff. So
true. But I'm just saying that, yes, I agree with James. If it's a big company, fund your own movie. But if he gets $10 million from a company and it's going to cost him $15 and he goes to Kickstarter to get $5 million, that's a smart move, and I don't have a problem with that.
See, and that's what I mean. If say Disney was to go to Kickstarter to try to get some of their money, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people out there that says, "No, you are a huge, huge organization. You've got the money. You take care of it," and they won't donate to those kind of things. So, it's the same thing as the economics. If I don't like your product, I'm not going to buy your product.
But I think some people will too.
Well,
because it's Disney, and so I don't want to sound like I'm wishy-washy here, because I understand both sides.
Well, like P.T. Barnum said, there's a sucker born every minute.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get enough money from those suckers to make that project. And if they do, well, then maybe we're bigger suckers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
While y'all ponder the next question, I'm going to go off camera real quick and take care of my kid.
Okay.
Be right back.
I guess we'll do that. Okay. Y'all have anything else to say on that before we move on?
No, I think we covered it. Mike?
That dead horse has been beaten.
Okay. Sounds good. The next item has really turned interesting in the last few days. A couple weeks ago, Joss Whedon had actually confirmed something he was kind of vague about prior months, announcing that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch will indeed be in the Avengers sequel that'll be coming out in 2015. And then late last week, Bryan Singer, who is in the process right now of directing the next X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, announced that Evan Peters, I believe that was the name. I got it right here. Has been cast to play. Let me get it real quick. To play Quicksilver, and now it's going to turn in. Yeah, Evan Peters. Now we're going to turn into a legal battle of who actually has the rights to the character. Now, after the Avengers movie came out, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said that there were some characters that more than one studio have the rights to because of their affiliations, and it was inferred that Quicksilver was one of those because he is a mutant. He is the son of Magneto and was an original member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So that's all X-Men related. Yet most of his time in comics, he's been Avengers or an ally or that kind of stuff. So he has Avengers ties too. So now it's turning into a legal version of Chicken to see who's going to blink. Now, supposedly Bryan Singer is only going to use the character for a cameo. I mean, he's supposedly written something just for that character, but apparently it had to have been written here real recently because they are filming right now for the movie to come out next summer, where Whedon has already written a script for Avengers 2, and they're supposed to start shooting early next year. So he's already written the character into the movie and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to turn into, this is just, I thought things would. I should have known that it would have turned into a legal battle that they couldn't get along and all that. But it's crazy. So, what's your guys' opinions?
If I may, in the Days of Future Past storyline, was Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch good or bad?
They weren't even in the original story.
They were not in the original story. Well, then to me, if you're going to toss them into that story, into that movie, then you need to decide. And it better be for the good guys, because in Avengers 2, obviously, he will be depicted as a good guy. Although I remember the days when they were in the Brotherhood of Mutants. They were also in several different comics versus, say, the Torch and the Thing, or Captain America or something like that, and they were still depicted as bad guys.
Well, Quicksilver. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Quicksilver has been one of those that's kind of like Namor, who at times is depicted as a good guy and at other times kind of a villain, that kind of stuff. Now, his time, the two of theirs tenure as member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants lasted 14 months of real time. They first appeared in like early '64, and then by mid '65 they were Avengers. They were part of Captain America's team, so they weren't part of the Brotherhood for a very long time. So, but he's gone on and done this, that, or the other, and so it's kind of he's kind of had a screwy. Like I said, it's very much like Namor, where Namor can be an ally, and other times he can be a villain, and that kind of thing. And then for those who don't know who I'm talking about, Namor is the Submariner. That's his real name. So go back. Go ahead. I apologize for interrupting you.
That's okay. Are they going to use the same actor to play that part in both movies? Or is this going to be a situation where he makes a cameo in one but is full-fledged in the other, and it's two different actors. If it's two different actors, the public is going to have an outcry. They're going to say, this is not right.
Well, it's not the same. It's not going to. Well, as far as we know, it's not going to be the same actor because they hadn't started casting for the Avengers 2. And it's for as far as what I've understand, what I've been reading, it's a cameo in Days of Future Past, but he's going to be more predominant in the Avengers sequel. Now, to your point about it being different actors and people find that kind of screwy, I can give you several examples. We just went through it with Iron Man. They replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle for Rhodey. We've how many different actors have we had? Bruce Banner and Hulk. We've had 3. We had Hulk, we had Eric Bana, Ed Norton, and then now Mark Ruffalo.
I still think it's going to be interesting when we get the Avengers and the Fantastic Four in the same room. Given that Captain America and the Human Torch were played by the same guy.
Well, we'll see how that's going to happen because Fox has the movie rights to Fantastic Four, so it's going to depend on this legal battle.
Yeah, you're going to set a precedent here.
No. But supposedly, it could happen because supposedly Sony and Marvel had made some kind of agreement where Oscorp Tower was going to be shown in the Avengers. It just didn't happen in time. So, of course, Oscorp is related to Spider-Man. So supposedly there is precedent, but it's going to really depend on what goes on here. But
and this is where you get into trouble with the whole diversification thing. I mean, the reason they split these things up is because no one studio wants to put all their eggs in the Marvel basket. I mean, just using Marvel as an example because that's the example we're talking about. I mean, none of the major studios want to be responsible for creating decent content for that many different sets of properties. And this is the downside right now, is that when you cross up the studios like this, then you're going to have trouble with legal issues with getting these people on screen because one huge mega corporation owns one set of characters and another huge mega corporation owns another set of characters, and so never the twain are going to meet.
Well, actually, Marvel had sold the rights back in the mid-90s when they were having financial problems. So that's how Fox got the rights to some of those, and that's how Sony had some of the rights to the others, and But now that Fox has had success with the X-Men, they're going to keep them for as long as they can. Sony's pretty much. It was funny because I almost reported on this, but when I first heard about it, I was like, no, this is not right. There had been a scuttlebutt for almost 12 hours about Sony's financial problems and that they were actually going to sell the Spider-Man back to Marvel. I'm like, there's no way. Spider-Man was a successful movie, and they're already in the process of filming a sequel. I can't see them doing that. And then, of course, there was official response coming out and said, no, we'll never, ever, ever sell the rights back.
And honestly, Marvel probably can't afford to buy the rights back at this point anyway.
Right.
There's no way.
It has to have 2 or 3 bombs where Sony decides it's not worth the effort.
Oh, yeah. It's going to have to be a fire sale. I mean, they're going to have to sell it for 20% of what it's actually worth.
Well, I just don't see that being an option, even with Spider-Man, because the third one didn't do as well, so it didn't do as well financially for obvious reasons if you've seen the movie. But they're still going to keep the rights and then just say, hey, we'll reboot it or we'll just do something. We'll do something different. Go a different direction or whatever. They're going to keep the rights, and the same thing with Fox with X-Men. Now, the Fantastic Four, that's a different thing. They're trying to reboot it. We'll see how that goes. If it bombs again, who knows? It may depend on. That's going to be another thing that's going to be tied up with these legal issues. Fox may decide to keep it just in spite, depending on how this all turns out.
But remember, Marvel doesn't reboot.
The movies they do.
Marvel may not, but Sony sure does.
Yeah, Sony does. James?
Seriously, I have really got no input on this because I'm totally
Gesundheit.
unread on it.
Okay.
Plus the characters, I know very little about the characters, except that when I see Scarlet Witch at any of the conventions, she's usually falling out of her top. That's about all I know. And there's no complaint from me on that. But that's all I know about Scarlet Witch.
What's in that cup?
Huh?
What's in that cup?
Yeah, and they were worried about what you were drinking, Mike.
It's just Sprite, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's just me and the kid tonight. I can't be doing anything like that. If it was just me, yeah, I might think about it.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting how this all comes about. More than likely, they'll come to some kind of agreement, but I don't know. It seems to me in a way that Fox is trying to capitalize on this. Either Fox or Scener's trying to capitalize it because it just seems so funny how this has popped up just right after Whedon has gone on the record saying that the character's going to be in the movie, and now all of a sudden this happens.
Well, and why not jump on the Avengers bandwagon? I mean, it's the huge thing right now.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense not to, really.
Well, God knows the X-Men movie franchise needs all the help it can get.
Well, that's why they're bringing Singer back for that. And he did so short a stint with DC characters.
Yeah. Maybe if he stayed around for X-Men 3, that would have been a little bit better, but I don't know. I do have some legitimate concerns about this film because I looked at the IMDb page for this movie, guys. 16 characters. They're all X-Men. 16. That's including them listing Quicksilver. Or 16 mutants. They've listed all of them, including the Peter Dinklage. I'm probably butchering his name. Have him listed, but he's been reported to play the villain in the piece. So of course but the rest of them, you got Patrick Stewart and then James McAvoy both playing Xavier, Fassbender and McKellen playing Magneto, and then almost everybody who was in the other films are coming back, including Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry. It's going to be like X3. Let's just throw as many characters in the film and have them on for about 10 seconds, and then, but we got them on there. Look, you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find
And in
wondering
X3, I had a problem trying to figure out who is who.
What were you saying, Mike? Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, Days of Future Past is a bit of a confusing storyline to begin with, and it's really focused on a handful of characters, and it's starting to sound like they're losing focus on that.
Well,
I wonder how much they're varying from the story.
Well, they have to, because some of the characters don't exist. They introduced Kitty Pryde in the future, but this is supposedly going into the past of more of the First Class timeline, which, of course, obviously Kitty Pryde was not alive during that time, so they're having to. It's going to be
mix things up, stir the pot.
It's nowhere near going to be what it was in the book, but and I kind of knew that. So I don't know how this is going to work. I really don't.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because that was a really good story.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when they decided to pick and choose members and decide, well, this is the original team, even though those members were never together in the books, and then start going that way, and then they want to start trying to do storylines from the books. Well, this doesn't work.
You're blowing continuity out of the water right off the bat with First Class, and then you're wondering why people are concerned about the second one.
Yeah. I don't know. That was my rant for tonight, or for the next 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and get into our game segment. How about that, guys?
Yay!
Yay, games! We're introducing a new game tonight. We're still kind of debating on what it's called, but I came up with a new one tonight. It's called Picture Yourself. So basically, you put yourself in the shoes of whatever situation I'm about to throw out. And let's see. James, I think James goes first this time because we had Les go last week, and Mike started us off the previous show. So James, you go first. You are a writer who's interested in writing a story about your favorite licensed character. Would you be part of the Kindle Worlds program? And for those who don't know what that's about, last week Amazon announced that they're introducing a program in conjunction with Warner Brothers, where certain licensed characters can be used, and I'm sure there's certain guidelines for this. Licensed characters, and then you can put it on Amazon, and it can be sold, and not only would obviously Warner Brothers and Amazon get a little money off of it, but you will too. So you are selling the story, although you're getting only a small portion because you're having to pay. Amazon and Warner Brothers are getting their chunks because it's their characters and it's their platform that you're selling off of. Is that something you would be interested? Would you do that if you had the notion?
So it's not going to cost me anything if I get the rights for it. Is it, or will I be paying something?
A portion, however it's going to be sold, a portion of that is going to go. Say you want to do a story based off the characters from Supernatural. Mm-hmm. Okay, Warner Brothers is going to get their percentage off because it's their characters.
Right.
Amazon's going to get their percentage because it's being sold on Amazon. But you will get a little bit because it's your story. You wrote the story.
Then I don't see what the big deal is as long as they have the rights, you can divide the print rights up and say as long as it's published and it's very well announced that it is fan fiction and it is not part of the actual supernatural universe, television universe. I don't see what what problem there would be, because that's a little bit of engagement, allowing your fans to be able to write that kind of thing. I don't see a problem with it, as long as they have their licensing done right. And lawyers can do this. They've been doing it for thousands of years. They can write it so that television and movies and those kind of rights and even book deals, those are legitimate book deals, are all one thing. But you've got the smaller set of rights that are strictly for the fan fiction writers. And that way, never the twain shall meet. I wouldn't see a problem with that.
Okay, Les.
I don't have a problem with it either. I know that whatever you write is going to have to go in front of DC and see what they have to say about it before they even think of submitting it for print. but I also see where Stephen King has a new book out, and rather than go through Nook or Kindle, he said, let's make it a paper edition and forget about this ebook stuff, which I applaud him for. This, I would rather see it in print, but the only problem is you're probably looking at, we'll say, 10 pages, 10-page story. You're not looking at a novel or a novella. You're just looking at a quick read, which is going to go for 99 cents on Nook or Kindle, and it's going to get you probably 3 cents payment for it, for everything that's sold.
Mikey?
I think you're an optimist if you think you're going to get 3 out of 99 cents from these people.
Hey, but 1,000 of those, that's $30.
Absolutely. No, I think this is going to go a long way to legitimize fanfic, because I mean there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people out there writing this stuff for fun on their own time anyway.
Yeah.
Now they're in a position where maybe they can get a little change for it. I mean, why not? I mean, if nothing else, you're gonna widen your base of potential writers. You might stumble across a diamond in the rough this way.
Yeah.
I think it will benefit Warner and Amazon greatly over the long run, because I think it's going to let them kind of control what's going out there and what's actually seeing print, and B, it's going to give them a glimpse into this huge independent writer movement that's going on these days, and they can actually find a way to capitalize off of that.
Yeah.
So I think, hey, I'm cool. I'm totally cool with that. If I had a bunch of supernatural fanfic sitting in my drawer at home, I'd be willing to throw some of it out there at this point, just for the heck of it, just to see what sticks.
Yeah.
Maybe pull down a nickel or something.
Now let me do some clarification. I don't know if the DC license material is available. Warner Brothers is involved, but I don't know if it's necessarily DC. I saw mention of TVs and movies and that kind of stuff. So should be good clarification.
I would want to make sure that they have an anthology to sell rather than just individual stories.
You want to get that on stone tablets while you're at it, Liz?
Not funny. But no,
everybody else is laughing, dude.
I think the people would buy it if it was an anthology. If it was 6 or 7 stories, fan-based, that's fine. The fans write them. I don't have a problem with that, because they've got fanzines out now with stories about various characters. But I would say that somebody on Amazon or on to buy for their Kindle, they would want to make sure that they get more than one story. And that way they've got different writing styles in different situations. I think that would be the better go.
And I mock, but I actually agree. I mean, I think especially if I'm going to go on Amazon and drop 99 cents for an ebook, I'd like to have like 150 pages minimum. I mean, and I say that loosely, but I'm not going to want to go just drop 99 cents for a 12-page story by one person. I mean, lump it in with 4 or 5 other stories, give me 150 pages for my 99 cents, and I'm a happy guy,
Yeah.
I think that's what they would have to do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know all the details. We'll have to look into it. As y'all mentioned, the legal issues. I mean, yes, the fan fiction's already being written now, but if they try to sell it and all that, then there's always going to be problems because of the corporate suits coming after whoever's selling it and wanting their money or that kind of thing. So this is a great avenue. It was funny. I saw some. I have some friends on Facebook that are writers, and they're not exactly happy about it. But I've not seen any real reasons for the anger. But yeah, it is an avenue for some people to get their name out there, and if they are a really good writer, they could possibly be picked up to do other things, not just necessarily licensed material. Maybe they have their own story to tell. Here's their opportunity. Kind of going back to what we were saying before, maybe they can do their own Kickstarter project and say, "Hey, look, I wrote this. If y'all know, if you know about this story, if you read this story and you like this is what I'm planning to do."
Holy cow! Full circle.
Hey, I'm good sometimes.
Oh, and another quick disclaimer: we mentioned Supernatural as an example a couple of times. We are not certain if Supernatural is part of this particular set of licenses. Either.
True.
Just an example.
Just an example. I have not seen an official list, and quite honestly, I have not looked.
And Les has not showed us his Supernatural fanfic yet either. So
yeah,
complete with drawings.
What?
Man, we really got to pick on somebody other than Les. Okay, I really got to pick on somebody other than Les. It's usually me. Sorry.
Okay, so the next item, and we will start with you, Mike.
Okay.
You are remodeling a house that you had paid for $10,000. In the process of tearing down a wall, you find old papers that was used as insulation and a copy of Action Comics #1, the very first appearance of Superman.
What was the question in there?
There was no question, just what would you do?
How bad do you crap your pants?
That depends. Is it in a state where it's actually worth anything at this point?
Well, according to this story, it was in better shape before someone tried to grab it out of the guy's hand.
It was a 3 on a scale of 10 until the ant grabbed it, and he grabbed it back and ripped the cover and dropped it to a 1.5.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, now that's the painful part right there.
But it's still, the bid on it right now is at $113,000.
The last I checked before we started broadcasting. I saw it at 137.
Oh,
137,000.
you know,
That lucky dog.
That's what you call a very lucky investment right there. And I envy the guy a little bit, I admit.
But
Now he can fix up the rest of the house.
He needs to learn next time.
Go buy a nicer house.
Next time you punch out the ant, then remove it from her fingers.
Right, put her in the shin and then take it from her. Right. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Why did she react like that?
She was just excited too.
She recognized it and knew that it was going to be worth something.
Well, he probably said, "Oh my God, this is worth something," and
she said, "Ooh, let me see."
Yeah.
Snatched it away like a fool.
no.
The stories that the articles I've read on it, it's been very vague on why the actual tug of war happened. It just happened.
Other ways.
Over $137,000, you could doze the building and build what you want.
Pretty much.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking.
Where was this again?
Minnesota?
Yeah, I think so. Let me pull that up real quick.
And in related
If it was Minnesota, I'd put it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if it was Minnesota, I'd stuff it back in the wall because they need insulation as much as they can.
Bump.
And in related news, Les has recently bought a whole bunch of real estate in Minnesota for some reason. No idea why.
Elbow Lake, Minnesota.
Wow. That's a great name.
When his wife's aunt grabbed the comic amid all the excitement and discovery, he grabbed it back and tore the back cover.
Now wait a minute. Did you say wife's aunt or did you say wife like slash aunt?
Wife's aunt.
Okay.
Then you tell her that she gets to pay the difference for the original grading.
Yeah, the guy that was doing the grading said that tear cost him about $75,000.
Yeah.
That's an expensive tug of war.
Let me check it here real quick because there was a link on that story to where it's to the auction, and let me go ahead and give them a little plug. Comics Connect. It's on ComicConnect.com.
Cathcart Towers.
I would have difficulty letting it go myself. As a collector, I'm not sure that I want to say, yeah, I'll sell it.
Yeah, you're a collector.
With 13 days, 19 hours, and 58 minutes left, the current bid is $137,000. CGC graded 1.5.
Wow.
And of course, the story mentions that what was it, a 9.0? Hang on. Oh, I've already closed it out. It went for a couple million here a couple of years.
2.1 million.
2.1 million.
Yeah, that was Heritage Auctions here in Dallas, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
People with money right here in Dallas, y'all. Woohoo! Wish I knew them.
So that's kind of a crazy story there. I mean, you hear that we get these every once in a while. Y'all remember? Was it a year or two ago? In Cleveland, someone was cleaning out like an attic or something like that, and there was a chest.
The uncle or a distant cousin passed away and left him the house, and he was cleaning up, and there in the attic was a box full of them.
Bob Kane stuff. Some original pages and some of the printing plates and everything of Batman.
Yeah. I can't remember how much the guy ended up getting overall, but it was a ton.
Yeah. You just never know. So that's pretty much you put yourself in their shoes for this week or for this time. Before we start trying to wind things up for the night, anything that we missed that y'all want to talk about?
I saw the previews for The World's End, and I'm ready for this one. This is by the guys that did Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
Oh yeah, we talked about that in the movie preview.
Yep.
Yeah, it's coming up soon, and I did get to see the preview, and I'm really with this. I think it's going to be very funny. It's going to be another save the world type situation.
Woohoo!
Well, then also on this one's called The World's End. Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then you get that other one called The End Is Near or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, they've got a red band trailer on that one on. Where is it at? It's hold on.
Well, you were asking me the question. I was giving you an answer.
No.
Yeah.
It's just,
that one's been on TV too.
Yeah, it's a red band trailer for This Is the End. It's on Geek Tyrant. That one looks funny too, as long as you don't mind the crude humor and everything.
Oh, is that the one with Seth Rogen?
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
Come on. Don't go Troy on me.
I've seen the trailer, and when I saw him pop up, I'm like, okay, not interested.
Well, now, have you seen the picture that they released from the set of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Whoopi Goldberg?
I saw that earlier this evening. Okay.
That was just her walking to her trailer. I mean, that's scary. That wasn't even costume.
She playing April.
That's a bad joke. Better than who they had chosen.
Yeah, you know who's playing April in the reboot, right?
No. I don't want to. Yeah, I
He's
know.
in denial.
Yeah. Denial, anger.
Megan Fox. See, she's making her jaunt around all the toy movies. She did Transformers.
I
Now
am
she's doing.
so leaving that comment alone.
There you go.
I am leaving that alone.
Well, they're not going to touch it. Hold on.
She did Transformers. Now she's doing Turtles, and then she'll move over to GI Joe and all that.
Again,
All the Hasbro.
staying out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's been interesting how much mixed reaction there has been to the Star Trek movie. I have not seen it myself, so I don't really have a horse in this race. But it's just been I don't know. It seems like it's either love or hate. There seems to be no middle ground whatsoever.
Pretty much. I still haven't seen it yet. I've been planning on it, but just things been going on where I haven't had the time yet.
Yeah, honestly, my standards were kind of low to start with. So.
See, that's what I tell people. I go, my standards are low too. I'm one of those guys that I can look at it and go, this is a J.J. Abrams. This is what he thinks Star Trek is, and I can enjoy the movie for that. I don't go, oh my God, what is he doing to the Star Trek canon? What is he doing to That's not. Well, y'all know who I'm thinking of, and I enjoy it.
No, who are you thinking?
No names. No names.
Not that we haven't already had names. But anyway.
I've got names for him, all right. No, I just can't understand why it's so hard to look at that and go, you know what, this is just J.J. Abrams' interpretation. Robert Orsi and those guys, this is their version of what they think Star Trek could be or should be or whatever, and they've got license to do it. So, and if you don't like the movie, that's fine. Go talk to the brick wall. Got to show y'all my procurement today.
Sounds painful. You're gonna have to say something
Say something to get on screen, dude.
Whoop, there we go. This is the one that's done by Joel Watson, I think is his name, over at Hijinks and Sue.
Okay.
And it's one of his creations. He's also the one that did the Edward T-shirt that I've got, the Team Edward T-shirt with Edward James Olmos on it.
I hadn't seen that one. It sounds good though.
I've worn it out. I need to get. Unfortunately, he quit making them just about the time that I got yellow paint on the sleeve, and it started to fade. So, but yeah, he's got some great stuff. Joel Watson is his name, over at hijinksandSue.com, and the website that he sells them through is called Sharksplode, and he's got tons of T-shirts like that. He's got one of Rory sitting outside the cube when the Doctor and Amy got locked into it, and then he does a Dr. Seuss rhyme with it. It says, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. A centurion's faithful 100%. And it's just little Rory sitting outside with his little centurion sword and his armor, and just sitting there waiting. He does really cool stuff. I like his artwork. And where he comes up with his ideas from, I have no idea. But he's got the webcomic. If you read the webcomic, be ready for, again, some adult humor. But I laughed my behind off, man. It's funny stuff. And where he pulls it up from, I have no idea. And then on top of that, he's good friends with Will Wheaton, you know. He's got that going for him.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
I've got something that it's funny because the first I've heard about this was last night, but apparently the news broke around the 8th or the 9th of this month. And here's the headline. Charlie Brown voice actor Peter Robbins sentenced to 1 year in jail gets sent to drug facility for stalking, threatening ex-girlfriend. And not only that, he made criminal threats against the plastic surgeon who performed her breast implant surgery. Peter Robbins, the original voice of Charlie Brown. And to top it off, the judge in the sentencing called him a blockhead.
You blockhead.
You blockhead.
That's pretty good.
That is so wrong.
But I saw that, I'm like, oh, wow. Wow, oh, wow. Or I should have said, oh, good grief. So, anything else before we sign off for the evening?
Give me just a second.
Uh-oh.
Apparently so.
This just in. Disneyland's Toontown evacuated after explosion.
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
Yeah, you can thank Taffeta Darling for posting that one up.
Our buddy Taffeta.
Other than that, I have nothing to...
Well, go ahead and promote your site, man.
Oh, okay. That's me, James, from galaxycalleddallas.com. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Galaxy_Dallas. Or you can follow me at Facebook at GalaxyCalledDallas.
Okay, and of course you can follow us, fellowshipofthegeeks.net. We're on Facebook at Fellowship of the Geeks and Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Mike, you want to go ahead and give out your Twitter handle so people can follow you?
I am on Twitter at Mikey Geek.
And
I just piggyback on Thomas's website, and that's all.
And Les is just here for the beer.
Hereforthebeer.com.
Although, since he's at his house, he had to pay for the beer.
Oh!
We should start up a Kickstarter just for him.
Please get his
beer.
There you go.
Is that a Kickstarter?
A Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
I'm into that.
Let's see. You also have beerme.com and beerfund.com.
2/3 of a pun there. All right. On that funny note, I guess, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Hope everybody has a good week. Please follow all of us on our different social medias that we just mentioned. If you have any, we always want feedback, so contact us at email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. What?
You were saying we always want feedback, and I'm like,
Oh.
No, we want feeding.
Please,
Feedback.
sir,
No, right. Feedback, yes. No,
Feedback.
we do. We like feedback. We like it when people talk to us. People never talk to us. God, I'm lonely.
Never talk to me.
There's no way that is Sprite in that.
That is not Sprite. It's gin and Sprite or something.
No,
I don't
he's
know.
always like this on Pure Air and stuff.
So with that, we will sign off, and we will see you next week. Y'all take care, guys.
Later.
Bye-bye.
River in the ditch.
Bye-bye. What he said.
What?
Hey. We need to